YouTube. What were they thinking? Basically, a few weeks ago, Apple brought out a new MacBook Pro. And the big problem behind this is they changed so much, they've gone in such a ridiculous direction that me now, as a creative professional, as someone who creates content for a living, has literally not a single Apple computer that makes any sense for me whatsoever. And here's the problem. I love Apple. I'm like the biggest Apple fanboy ever. I only live in the Apple universe. I don't even eat oranges or bananas, any other fruits. I'm just such an Apple fanboy. I mean, literally following them for 8-9 years in the tech press, been using all their little gizmos, iPads, iPhones, MacBook Pros, all that sort of stuff for years and years and years. In fact, I even worked for Apple for 2.5 years at the Apple Store. Long enough ago for me to now talk about them publicly, but that is even proof right there. I am the biggest Apple lover in the universe, and I'm never going to go to PC. I'm never going to go to Windows or Linux or even get an Android phone because I love what Apple do. And that's why it's a big problem that they simply don't make a single laptop or a single desktop computer solution for me as a creative person that makes any sense at all. It is completely crazy. So let me show you the new MacBook Pro. I can show you it on the computer, just around the chair, and then boom, into the computer. Look at that. Click. Macs, we're going to go to Mac and new MacBook Pro. That must mean it's the best one for pros, right? No, incorrect, stupid. There's one major problem that I don't really hear people talking about in the correct way, and that is the ports. Now, you've probably heard people, if you follow the Apple universe, talk about how the new MacBook Pro simply does not have enough ports. It doesn't have enough ports, and they're also the wrong ports. I mean, you've probably heard about that before if you follow the tech press. However, in fact, let me show you, I want to show you some sort of zoom in of the ports. There you go. Here are the ports here. And you're probably thinking, multiplier, what are you doing, you maniac? These are the best ports ever. They're Thunderbolt 3. You can do 40 things per second, and it supports two 5K displays, and you can charge and you can do everything. It's just the best port ever. But you're wrong, because I mean, it's like, let me give you an analogy, a metaphor even. I live in the countryside, and that means if I bought an electric car, I would be a moron, because there's nowhere around here kitted out for electric cars yet. I mean, yes, you could plug it into your house if you want to run a stupid, or you can drive like 20 miles out of your way to plug in your stupid. Electric cars are the future, yes, but there's just not the infrastructure to run an electric car right now if you live in the countryside. I mean, if I wanted to go surfing, I would run out of power, and I'd be sad because I wanted to go surfing, and then I'd just run out of power. I'd be stuck by the side of the road, and it'd be just a headache, and I'd start crying, and that'd be bad. And that's because we are not in the future yet. We are in the present, and that means you want to buy something that you can use in the present. It's no good buying something that's going to be good in 5 years or 6 years if it's basically useless now. Let me do some more explaining. So, I know what you're thinking. These are great ports, multiplier. Can't you just use a dongle? I mean, yes, they're not normal, but you could just get a dongle because, I mean, yes, nothing really uses Thunderbolt 3 or USB-C, whatever you want to call it, but you can just get a dongle. And what, aren't dongles good? No. Dongles are not good. Let me show you. This is a dongle. And it's broken because they're dongles. They're not really good. You just can't buy good dongles. It's not a thing that exists in the universe. You also can't buy good USB hubs. That's just something that doesn't exist in the universe. I mean, I pretty much have the best USB hub money can buy. It's a very, very expensive Anchor one, which you can probably see down there. It's got all the ports in the universe. It's got loads of them. Look at that. There's loads. It lights up. It's great build quality. The best one money can buy. All the best reviews. And it still doesn't work properly. Yes, for lots of normal situations, USB hubs are absolutely fine. My MIDI keyboard, normal things like hard drives under just typical consumer use, or maybe, as I say, maybe a MIDI keyboard or just basically normal sorts of things, absolutely fine with USB. But when you're doing creative, professional things, every now and then they glitch out because USB is an imperfect technology. I mean, I'm not a USB expert, but it's not perfect. There's a whole bunch of technical problems with it. And then especially when you run it through hubs, stuff just doesn't work right. I've been making tutorials for years and years and years. And trust me, stuff does not work very well through dongles. Dongles break, dongles don't work properly. Same goes for USB hubs, docking stations, whatever. And as a result, anything you want to definitely work, you have to plug in to the actual computer through a port. For example, sound cards. These little guys down here, if you're recording audio through a sound card, you need to plug the sound card directly into the computer. If you go through a USB hub, every now and then it will glitch out, and that'll be annoying because you're doing an amazing job of recording, and then there'll just be an error, and it'll just be like a little gap missing, and then you have to, I mean, it's a nightmare because hubs and dongles just don't work. I say it one more time, hubs and dongles just don't work properly. Webcam, even on the MacBook Pro with way more ports than this, I still can't plug the USB webcam in to do streaming and stuff. Therefore, the webcam has to go in through a hub, and as a result, every now and then, it just glitches out. Also, hard drives, when you're recording a lot of data to a hard drive, maxing out the speed of the hard drive, and you're recording for a long time, every now and then, it glitches out when you use a hub or a dongle. I mean, this is an internet dongle, but it's a dongle. So basically, if you're a creative professional creating something, whether that's recording or streaming or basically doing anything with like high data, important data stuff, you want to be plugging as much into the computer as you possibly can. I mean, let's give you another example because there are so many examples. Mouses, if you don't plug them in directly into the computer, every now and then just go on the screen, and that's annoying if you're doing a screen recording. I mean, yes, if you're just a normal consumer or a different type of professional, that's not an issue. But what you find is every different creative professional, what you find is every single creative professional has their own specific set of tools and things they use, and pretty much all of them have a particular problem that's quite specific to them, but it's still a problem. A problem that could be solved, bumped into the chair, a problem that could be solved if the machine had enough direct ports. I mean, just look at that again. It's got a headphone jack, which, I mean, apparently Apple thought you didn't need one of those when they brought out the new iPhone, but apparently you do need one on a laptop. But that's good. At least they're trying. They put a port in there. And then you've got 4 USB, we call them USB Type-Cs, or we'll call them Thunderbolt 3, whatever. You've got 4 additional mega ports, but one of these has to be used for power. And then if you've got an external display, like I have, one's going to be used for that. And then if you've got some sort of like USB hub, then one's going to be used for that. And then if you're doing anything like webinars or streaming, or even just talking to someone on Skype and you want the latency to be as low as possible so you can like communicate in an efficient way, you also want to do things like plug your internet in. So again, you can't do that unless you use one of the ports, so on and so on and so on. And before you know it, you realise you just can't use this machine without using loads of dongles, loads of hubs, and that's a proper headache. But multiplier, can't you daisy chain? Can't you get, say, like a massive hard drive and plug that daisy chain into another massive hard drive and then plug a monitor at the end? Therefore, you're only using one port. Right, multiplier, can't you just do that? Well, technically yes, but then, I mean, I would literally have to buy a massive expensive hard drive array and then still buy a load of dongles, and then I'd have to buy another expensive, it's loads of extra stuff that theoretically works well and in certain situations can work well, but normally it's expensive and it doesn't work well, and then you just get annoyed because it's like, why can't you just put ports on the computer? There are so many, look at all the space on the computer. You could put a port there, you could put a port there, or there. And you know what you could even do? You can make some of the ports that like are usable in the real world, like a normal USB, or even like the old Thunderbolt. It's a nightmare. This is a computer that might make sense for a semi-professional or only a subset of professionals in like 5 years. Like even right now, it makes no sense for anybody at all, ever, because it's just, what is going on? And here's why it makes absolutely no sense. So the reason why, in case you're wondering, that they only put, say, a small number of ports on the side, and they're all futuristic, is so it looks really simple. So it looks elegant and sophisticated. Minimalism, simplicity. I mean, that is the Apple way, right? Keep things simple. Let me show you. iPad. So iPad, very minimalistic. It's only got one port at the bottom. It's all symmetrical. There's no chaos and clutter. Absolutely fine. I mean, that is the Apple way, simplicity. Put that back. That is the Apple way, simplicity. But that only looks simple when you're not using the laptop, when it's on a website, or maybe you buy it, take it out of the box, haven't turned it on yet. Once you start turning it on and actually using it for pro things, it's a MacBook Pro, you start plugging stuff into it. And you know what's less simple than simple? Dongles. If you plug a dongle in, that's way less simple than just having the right port on the side of the computer, and then you just plug it in and it's fine. What sort of crazy universe is this where the simplest, most elegant solution involves crazy loads of like dongles, into hubs, into dongles, some sort of massive dongle party, and that's apparently simple as Apple? No, it's not. It's much less simple, and it's a bit stupid, and Apple, you make money off these. I mean, not a lot of money, probably a lot actually, because we have to buy so many of them. But even if you ignore the money that you make off us on the dongles, you make more money off us when we actually buy your machines. I can't see myself buying one of these. I mean, I might be forced to. If that dies, I'm pretty much forced to buy the new one. So I might be forced at gunpoint to buy one of these new machines. I know loads of other people that just don't like the lack of ports. I mean, it's absolutely crazy to all. Also, on the simplicity front, if you're keeping things simple, don't add a touch bar. That's the opposite of simple. And also, The speaker grills, the speakers don't even come out of the speaker grills. It just feels like they've got marketing first and professionals second. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with this if Apple made another laptop with all the right ports, but they don't. So, I mean, what am I going to do? It's crazy. I don't know. Just what is going on right now? What is going on where I can't buy an appropriate computer? Because I do need one of these. I actually need one of these. It's not even much faster. I paid in mid-2012 about £2,000 for that 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro. And if I wanted to buy a slightly faster, like 10-15% faster, new MacBook Pro, it would cost me £3,000. So in 4 years, and an extra 50% of the price, 4 years and an extra 50% of the price, I'm getting that much faster speed, same amount of RAM, 16 gigabytes. Granted, there is a pretty good reason for that. It's a bunch of technical battery issues. Google it if you're wondering why they only put 16 gigabytes of RAM in the new MacBook Pro. But you get my point, right? It's crazy that in 4 years, if I want to get a slightly faster computer, it's going to cost me 50% more than the original price. It's like, what is going on? What is going on? I have no idea. I mean, if you're a traveling professional, if you're a video editor, you're a video creator, you're a filmer, whatever it is, you do things where you make video and stuff, and you want to travel around with this because it's super lightweight, right? So the lightweight means you can carry it around. So professional, but it's lightweight, so you can carry it around. You need an entire extra bag full of dongles and chaos and clutter and confusion, which would probably weigh more than just making it that much thicker and putting in the right ports. So it's like you actually made it more heavy by not putting in the right ports. So don't make it, it's just what is going on? Oh man. Get it together, Apple. Get it together, because I love you. Apple's amazing. I like eating apples. I like the company Apple. Apple, make a better one. Or make good dongles. I don't mind. If there was such a thing as a perfect, better dongles, better hubs, I don't even mind. I'd be happy to live in a universe with hubs, not dongles. Dongles are stupid. Hubs. I'd be happy to live in a world with lots of USB hubs and like mega special hubs that have like internet and power. Like hubs are fine if they worked, but they just don't. So make the hubs work or make a proper computer. And then I'd happily give you £3,000. MacBook Pro, more like MacBook, not Pro. No offense to any professionals who do actually like the machine, and it does make sense for, as I say, this does only apply to 25 to 30% maybe of all creative professionals, but that's still a big chunk, and it's a big chunk that now has no real solution at all. The iMacs are good, but you can't carry them around. And then if you plug in a second monitor into it, it's just weird. It's just weird plugging, because it's such a nice monitor, but lots of creative professionals like to use their own monitors, whether you're a colour person or you just like having loads of monitors. Loads of the top pros in all parts of creative professional worldland like having additional monitors, and you just can't plug more monitors into the iMac. It seems weird. You can do it, it's just weird. And the graphics card doesn't really even handle it properly. Not as well as you want. It's one of those things like you can't actually use as many monitors with a Mac as it says you can. I mean, they'll plug in and they'll turn on, but then your computer's going as it tries to work the monitors, so that's annoying. Also, the Mac, I mean, don't even get me started on the Mac Pro. Don't even get me started on the Mac Pro. As you can tell, I'm quite passionate about this because I love the products. I love them. And now there's no perfect product. In fact, there's nothing even close to perfect. At best, I'm making 3 compromises, or 2, or 4, or another number of compromises. But anyway, it's compromise central right now in the world of Apple land instead of good central. So yeah, that's it. Here's knowledge, sound cards. If you're a music person, which you probably are if you're looking at this, plug them directly in, don't go through hubs. Plug your sound card in, use the other port, if it's got one, for the hub, and then, let me show you. Sound card, USB hub. Sound card, USB hub. And I've got loads of more ports. I mean, even this doesn't have as many ports as I want because I can't put my webcam through, for example. So that's annoying. But at least there are options. You have 2 Thunderbolt 2s, so I can plug my screen in and then I can plug in my Ethernet. The stupid dongle works, which it doesn't. But I could do, and that's what I do when I have a dongle that works. But at least you can, whereas you couldn't do if it doesn't have enough port and power. MagSafe was brilliant as well. I just don't even get me started on the MagSafe as well. That was a Steve Jobs, one of his best things ever, which I love. Just had enough of this stupid machine. Just no. There's no happy ending to this, unfortunately. I'd love to finish on a happy note, a nice happy ending to the story, but there is none at all. No happy ending. That sounded bad. There is no good resolution to the story. Normally you want the story, you want the narrative to resolve itself at the end, but this one doesn't. I'm just going to leave you in weird limbo land with no resolution to the narrative. Just looking at my old computer. Look at all those ports. Happy days. Do you remember the good old days with ports? It's really nice. Memories. Good old days. Oh, the good old days when you had loads of ports.